Jane Austen was an English novelist who is today famous and appreciated worldwide. She started writing novels when she was only 14 years old, and during her lifetime only published them anonymously because women were not allowed to write books back at the time. Only after her death did her brother Henry reveal her true identity and publish all of her works. Among these, Pride and Prejudice is surely the best-known title. As can be seen in this image, the original book cover reads, "By the author of Sense and Sensibility," an earlier work by Jane Austen. Her name, however, never appears. Written between 1796 and 1797, but published only in 1813, Pride and Prejudice tells the story of the life of the Bennet family, made up of the 5 sisters Jane, Elizabeth, Lydia, Mary, and Kitty, and their parents. The girls have grown up in a modest country house with a mother who is obsessed with finding them a husband who will guarantee them a financially secure future. But among them, Elizabeth, the second oldest, aspires to live her life with her brother's perspective. There is turmoil in the family and in the whole village when a new neighbor, the young but wealthy Mr. Bingley, moves into the area accompanied by his sisters, the husband of one of them, and a friend, Mr. Darcy. While Mr. Bingley immediately falls in love with the eldest Bennet, Jane, Darcy and Elizabeth seem to hate each other from the first glance. Darcy, after meeting Elizabeth for the first time, thinks she is not beautiful enough, whereas Elizabeth immediately finds him way too proud. As the plot unfolds, the two overcome the problems towards each other and finally fall in love. In 2005, a film version of the book was made, directed by Joe Wright. Keira Knightley plays Elizabeth, while Matthew Macfadyen plays the part of Darcy. This version can be defined as fairly faithful to the novel, so much so that it even quotes sentences that are almost the same as the book. However, the detailed descriptions, which were perfect for the book, are way too long for the film, and some situations have even disappeared. For instance, many characters are not portrayed in the film version, such as Mr. Bingley's second sister and her husband. Also, the Phillips, Mrs. Bennet's sister and her husband, do not appear. Moreover, the Gardiners, the Bennet's cousins, have no children in the film, whereas in the book they have 4. Finally, of the Lucas family, we only know the head of the family and Charlotte Lucas, Elizabeth's best friend, while her sister and mother disappear. The film still manages to depict the most important stages of the story, even if with a few changes. The first meeting with Mr. Wickham, for instance, instead of happening at the Phillips house, happens by chance while the Bennet sisters are busy shopping. Also, not shown in the film are the scenes in which Elizabeth, while at the Collins house, often goes for walks with Mr. Darcy, who more than once arranges to meet her. Darcy's sister Georgiana, portrayed as a very shy girl in the book, appears more outgoing in the film, and her relationship with her brother is different, much more confidential. We can also perceive a certain modernity in the film. In the famous scene in which Elizabeth and Darcy declare their feelings to each other, despite their argument, we can witness the attraction between the two protagonists. Surely Jane Austen couldn't have described such a scene, and in the novel we do not feel the same emotions while reading. In the book, it is also Elizabeth who tells her mother and her sisters about the engagement between the two of them, and the day after this event, the book also reports another conversation between Darcy and Elizabeth, where the two of them talk to each other and appear closer than ever. The film succeeds in representing the novel well, despite some differences and some hints of modernity that seem to add value to the narrative. A final difference concerns the ending. Whereas the film ends with Mr. Bennet granting Elizabeth's hand in marriage to Mr. Darcy, the book ends with the story of the marriages between Elizabeth and Darcy and between Jane and Bingley.